All right, folks, on Monday on HBO, there's going to be a documentary that is going to deal with the life of Sandra Bland. Remember, she was a 28-year-old black woman from Chicago who was arrested for a traffic violation in Prairie View, Texas. Of course, location of Prairie View A&M University. Sandra, of course, was going down there. She was had a new job, and she was down only there for a few days. But she was arrested for no reason whatsoever. After 3 days in custody, she was found hanging from a noose in her jail cell. Her death was quickly ruled a suicide, but many people, of course, across the country were shocked and stunned, saying that it was potentially racially motivated. Her story, something that we covered extensively on my previous show. And again, that documentary is going to be this Monday. And so here is a part of the documentary.
Sandy called me on July 11th to let me know that she had been arrested. I said, what are you in jail for? She said, you know, I really don't know. And she said, my arm is hurting really bad. And I could hear her talking to the guards in the background. Then she said, I'll call you back. And she hung up the phone, and she never called back. I wouldn't wish this hurt on anyone.
Documentary is called Say Her Name, The Life and Death of Sandra Bland. And earlier this week, I talked with the director, David Heilbronner, as well as the Bland family attorney, Kenan Lambert, about this documentary. So David and Kenan, let's talk about this documentary here. Obviously, it's a story that I covered extensively. So David, I'll start with you. Was there a surprise? Was there anything that you did not know before that really jumped out at you when working on this documentary?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that jumped out at me was Sandra Bland herself. You know, I got to know who she was as a person, because going in, I knew what everybody knew. I knew about the dash cam. I knew about the really suspicious circumstances surrounding her hanging, the police attempt to slander her, but I didn't get a feeling for her character until I dug into her Sandy Speaks videos, until I got to know her family. And that was really what inspired me and my wife and co-director Kate, you know, made us really feel like there was an important story to tell, that there was someone behind this statistic about one more, you know, black death at the hands of the police. This person was someone that history had to remember. She was amazing.
Kenan, when you think about this story and how it developed, and then when people begin to see those videos, to see someone recording videos, sharing their thoughts, their innermost feelings about police stops and things along those lines, and then all of a sudden her becoming, in essence, a story and others doing their own videos about her, quite eerie.
It is so prophetic. It is extremely eerie. If somebody can be that powerful, that strong, and it can happen to her, I think that's what resonates with everybody. We understand that it can happen to anybody. And that's what drives so many people in their interest in seeing better. And that's what she calls for in the documentary. I mean, she calls for better. She calls for us to step up. She calls for us to take our seat at the table and do something as opposed to sit on your hands.
One of the things that was, as we were reporting on the story, probably maybe was a week or so after she died, when her sister posted a photo, because we'd actually met. I spoke at a women's expo in Chicago, and then when she posted the photo, I mean, so I remembered the scenario, because she's a very tall woman.
Yeah.
And then when I met her mother, at the Congressional Black Caucus, we did an interview with her mother, and her mother said, oh my God, she absolutely loved watching your show, and she always said she was going to be on your show one day. And for her to get to be on the show in this way was just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought a lot about what's happened, what this film might do to Sandy's legacy. In fact, what her story has done. It's this terrible irony that here's a woman who had so much to contribute, who did these video blogs that, you know, a handful of people had seen, and she had to die in jail, you know, to become a national figure. She would be smiling now if she were looking down on it, because this is what you wanted. I don't know if she wanted this way, this to be the way she got there. You know.
Ken, I've studied that videotape, and to this day, why did that trooper stop her?
Well, I mean, I think that's the question that so many of us have. He didn't have basis. And you know that because you can look at his own words. He didn't know what to arrest her for. She says in the video, "Why? I'm not under arrest. You don't have a right." And then he says, "You are under arrest." And she says, "For what?" And you see him later looking and talking to his supervisor, trying to figure out what she's under arrest for.
See, most people, when they play the videotape, they pick up on the videotape either two places. When he's about to pull her over, and then when he's pulling on the car door. But when I've run that tape back, I've seen it from the perspective of when she pulls out of the parking lot on the Prairie View A&M campus. And again, I've watched it. She literally pulls out. She makes no lane change. There's nothing. He was dealing with somebody else. He turns his car around.
Boom.
He follows her, and it's sort of like, okay, I'm gonna wait till you do something. Then he still pulls her over, and again, I'm going.
Yeah, man.
There was nothing there to even be pulled over.
But see, I would go so far as to say he did things to help and to create the situation.
Oh, absolutely.
He rushes up on her and then forces her to get over for the purposes of getting out of his way, and she even says so. And I think that's the broader issue, right? The broader issue is that you can be driving your car, anybody, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, and minding your own business, and then get stopped by the police and then subjected to something that can go woefully wrong. And you know, you ask yourself, why did this situation serve as a rallying cry? And I think it served as a rallying cry for a myriad of reasons. But it really has to do with the fact that we can all see ourselves in Sandy. In this documentary that was done, one of the things that's most impressive to me and the way that they put it together is that they let Sandy speak. And she does so in an eloquent way.
David, you have police officers who understand they have complete authority. Yeah. And he knew, again, if you study that videotape, if you just watch it, and he knows that he is agitating her. He knows that he is provoking her. And then he knows exactly. This is not like somebody who was smoking in her car and then she turns and blows a cigarette in his face.
Yeah.
When he says, put the cigarette out, and she says no, he knew by being an officer that even if it's an unlawful command, the law says you have to obey.
Yeah. You know, people talk about that. I mean, everyone's looked at that stop, 6 ways to Sunday. What a lot of people say about it is like, well, if Sandy had just behaved herself and shut up, but, they're not really looking at it very carefully because that's just what she did. She gets stopped. He says, license and registration. She gives him license and registration. 5 minutes pass. He comes back. He says, here you go. She doesn't say anything. Then he says, you look irritated.
Right.
And she says, well, I am.
Well, yes.
Then she tells why, and she stops talking. Time passes. He goes, are you done? Now,
yes.
When my wife and I have an argument, if either of us says, are you done?
In that tone.
It's over, man.
Everybody knows what that tone is.
What it means.
And he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah. And then she says, she's still keeping her cool. She goes, yeah, I'm done. You asked me what was wrong. I told you. More time passes. She's still not doing anything. So when people say, why didn't she just shut up and behave? She did, and this guy just kept coming at her.
Right.
Coming at her.
And then
finally,
he goes,
she said,
put the cigarette out.
And then she says, why do I have to? She didn't say no. She says, why do I have to put it out? And that's when he pulls the car out.
Boom.
By the way, the other part of it is that people talk about her cursing. She didn't start cursing until he pulled her out of the car after pointing a taser at her.
He slapped her face.
Well, he did that too.
Yeah.
He did that too. And I think the documentary makes that clear too. There's a lot of things about this piece that was done that really help people understand the totality of the situation. It's one of the reasons why I think it's so important that people watch the film.
And then also the issue of cash bonds.
Yeah.
Because it was interesting to me the number of people who kept saying, well, my goodness, that they just couldn't find the $500. Look, there are a lot of people in this country who, if something happens, just can't go grab $500.
And by the way, if you're in one state and you've got to go 4 states down to get to the person you're trying to get to, that's a problem. It's difficult to do. And it was a day and a half. It wasn't a long period of time that we're talking about. It wasn't like they were non-responsive. They were responsive. And so, again, the thing that I really feel that we need to pull out of this is that there's a broader narrative that we have to make sure that we stay focused on, because there's a conversation to have. We've got to have a conversation about what it is to de-escalate. These questions you're asking about the video speak directly to de-escalation,
right,
and the need to have de-escalation. If you don't have de-escalation, then what do you have? You have chaos. And what we saw out on that road was chaos, and the chaos leads to people losing their lives.
Again, folks, the documentary, Say Her Name, is going to be airing on HBO on Monday. So we certainly hope you tune in and watch that. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Sandra Bland. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. With the holidays just around the corner, now is the time to order holiday cards for family and friends. Now, you know doggone well, you mail out holiday cards, they come in the mail, and you want to really impress your friends and family or your business folks with that. So this year, you can create custom holiday photo cards quickly, easily, and affordably at simplytoimpress.com. Now, simplytoimpress.com is your holiday photo card headquarters, with thousands of unique Christmas cards and other designs to choose from. Now look, this is very simple. All you do is upload your family photos. You can get them from Facebook or Instagram, personalize the text, and then you're done. It's that simple. Simplytoimpress.com prints your cards professionally on your choice of premium card stock in just a few days and rushes them straight to your door. The New York Times Wirecutter named Simply to Impress their favorite custom photo card service. Simply to Impress even offers foil cards and hundreds of great holiday card designs for your business as well. Now look, if you place your order today, you'll save 30% and get free shipping. 30% savings and free shipping. All you got to do is enter the promo code DEAL, D-E-A-L, at checkout. Now save big on holiday photo cards today by using the promo code DEAL at simplytoimpress.com. That's simplytoimpress.com. And remember, when you support them, you also are supporting Roland Martin Unfiltered, because they are. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.